Sir, how are you? It's good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you too, Sergeant Martin. How are you? How are you?
I'm great. I would be so much better if I was there doing this interview live with you.
That would be pretty cool.
So, sir, we're going to get right to it because we only have a couple of minutes. So, I would like, my producer would like me to ask you, if possible, if you can repeat the question, repeat my question in your answer for editing purposes. So, my first question is going to be, why is it so important for the Army to have astronauts?
It's so important for the Army to have astronauts because we have always been involved in exploration in the United States. In fact, the Corps of Engineers and the Army helped explore the western United States, and Lewis and Clark their expeditions involved the Army. So I think historically it makes sense, and it's something we're just continuing. There's a long tradition of it.
Sir, we are so proud of you. We can't even begin to explain what it feels like for us to see you there. Could you tell us, being on the International Space Station is, and then fill in the blank?
Being on the International Space Station is complex. It's both amazing, exhilarating, and, well, it's not only amazing and exhilarating, it's also very challenging and uncomfortable at times. So it's a unique opportunity that requires constant attention, but it's an amazing experience to be here.
Sir, you told us when we interviewed you previously that the first thing you wanted to do when you got to space was go into the cupola and look back at the Earth and see the view. Can you explain to us, how was it? How did it make you feel?
So comrade up here, the commander for the space station, retired U.S. Marine Colonel, when I first got up here, he took me to the cupola to make sure I got that look. And when I first looked out that window, what really struck me was how big the contrast was between the sunlit Earth and the absolute blackness of space. It made the Earth seem very isolated to me. That was the emotion I had, but the grandeur of the Earth was amazing.
And was it exactly what you expected?
I couldn't have possibly expected it. It's something that I don't think you can even get your brain wrapped around when you're up here. It's so immense that it's really hard to process for at least my brain.
So you recently conducted your first spacewalk. Can you explain what you did and how it felt to be floating out there in space?
Honestly, a little terrifying at first. Again, Comrade was there along with me leading that spacewalk, and Joe here, another service member, previously a Marine. Joe was in charge of the airlock, got both of us suited up. I'll never forget the moment when Comrade opened up the airlock and the sun from the Earth came up and lit that small compartment up. It suddenly felt like we were going to really go outside. And then floating outside isn't much different from floating inside, except you're a much more massive object when you're outside by about 300 additional pounds. And the fact that there's nothing between you and the Earth but the glass in your visor makes it something that you pay a lot more attention to.
Sounds amazing. We have one more request for you, sir. It's very simple. You've done it for us before. We'd like you to give us a space shout out. Go Army, beat Navy. Maybe some kind of cool little, flippy do there with your non-gravity. We've got to have it for the soldiers, sir.
All right, here goes. Go Army, beat Navy.
Sir, they said there was a little bit of an echo on my first question, so I'm going to restate it for you. Why is it important for the Army to have astronauts?
It's important for the Army to have astronauts because it's a long-standing tradition that the Army participates in our nation's exploration. as far back as Lewis and Clark, we had Army officers, Army soldiers participating in pushing the boundaries of where humanity goes, or exploring new territories. So the fact that we have the Army consistently participating, it just continues that long history.
Thank you, sir. And once again, being on the International Space Station is?
Being on the International Space Station is complex. It's exhilarating, it's amazing, and it's also challenging and can be uncomfortable. It's a very unique environment we have up here to accomplish a lot of science objectives, but that means, but you're also in a very inhospitable environment. We've got lots of science riding on us doing the right things, and our lives could be at stake if we do something incorrectly. So you have to always be paying attention, but you sure can't beat the view.
Sir, thank you so much. We are so proud of you. Thank you for being our representative.
Thank you. Thanks for this time to do the interview. Appreciate it.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from Soldiers TV and Marines Media. Station, we are now resuming operational space to grounds.